Welcome back to Q&A. We're joined with Murray this morning as he went through Romans 7, at least the first part of Romans 7. Murray, again, there's a lot of conviction that goes along with me wanting to live my life on my own strength, my own abilities, not needing Christ. And Romans 7, again, painted a great picture, kind of using the illustration of marriage, of the benefits of the freedom in Christ. And before we kind of get into a few questions, why don't you remind the listeners of your sermon on Sunday?
Yeah, Paul uses a domestic example of the domestic example of marriage to illustrate how Christians being united with Christ, or as we said yesterday, married with Christ, can't live their lives irrespective of that relationship. We always have to live in light of that relationship. And so what we talked about yesterday is how we get that new identity in Christ, and then what that new work looks like out of that new identity in Christ.
I think we always wrestle with the free, not free, and you spent some time in that. Could you maybe unpack that a little more for people and the blessing of it?
Yeah, so I would say, anytime someone gets married, one of the things that we do in premarital counseling is that we say, what you're giving up is your own rights, the ability to make decisions unilaterally, to spend your money the way that you want to spend your time the way that you want to spend. But what you get in return is far greater than the things that you give up. And so I think what Paul is saying in a similar way, just as being not free to live however we want means sacrifice, but the freedom that we get in Christ means that we get to become a more real version of who we are. Meaning, if we are pursuing Christ, then we'll get the love that we always wanted, or we'll get the acceptance that we always wanted, or we'll get the recognition, the value that we always wanted, instead of seeking it in other things.
And in finding that in Christ, how would you kind of correlate the two between us really relying on that new power, that new strength, that new identity that we have in Christ, right? Because I find myself knowing, like, I'm a new creation and I've been given His power and His energy that works through me, but then yet I still find myself trying to use my own abilities, digging in my own heels. And so how would you help with someone saying, like, you are free in Christ, and therefore that's going to help you really leaning into and submitting to the power that's in you in Christ?
Yeah, it's a daily thing, right? I think to take the marriage illustration even further, part of the reason that we wear a wedding ring is to remind us of our vows, because we need reminding of who we're married to. So I think in a similar way, we need constant reminder that the strength to obey Christ comes from Christ. And so it's a constant submission. It's a constant taking myself to Him and saying, I can't do what you require. I need your strength to do it. I can't love you as I ought. I need your love to do it. So it's being filled up with the love of Christ so that we can then show the love of Christ.
Right. So would you say the more we deny ourselves, the more that is allowing, right? That self-denial is allowing the power of Christ, right, for that self-denial. And we're being filled up more with that power when we exercise self-denial.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, as always, Sunday mornings at Cahaba Park are a joy, a blessing to worship together. There's a lot of energy on Sunday.
It's exciting.
Having the Word that can just kind of power us through the week is what makes following Christ so beautiful. So, as always, we thank you for your faithfulness to the text. If you have any questions that you want discussed here, we would love to hear from you. So feel free to reach out. And as always, thank you for your support of Cahaba Park.